Jim Gibbs was earmarked for a racing career from a young age. A family friend penned a poem about the 10-year-old in 1948. He hadn't raced, yet the author must have had some insight. Gibbs would go on to a successful stint in the saddle before turning to training and an even better career that would see him post records and become the envy of his peers. Confirming the literary forecast, Gibbs entered the stables of Frank Cobb in Matamata in 1950 as a 12-year-old. He was 14 when Brushwood provided Gibbs with the memorable first win. They proved a good combination as their 7th win came before Christmas in 1953 in the race then called the Auckland Cup Trial. These days, it's known as the Counties Cup. Gibbs rode on the flat and over jumps, collecting 126 wins, including 3 McGregor Grant steeplechase wins in a row. An astute man with horses and land, Gibbs had an eye for the future. He developed his first property from scratch in Matamata, and by 1962 he was dabbling in training. Cretan provided the first victory 6 months into the dual career. He was always impressed with the intelligence of Cretan, the horse going cross-legged to jump the last fence to win the Waikato hurdle. The jockey career ended on a winning note in 1965 when friends convinced Gibbs he had too much to lose as a trainer if he suffered a serious injury. Gibbs never operated big teams, and the horses were seldom fashionably bred, yet they produced remarkable results. He was to become a great mentor to future trainers like Roger James and Lance Noble. Gibbs is extremely proud of the career boost he was able to provide for apprentices like Michael Coleman. 35 apprentices would make their start in the Gibbs stables. The years of hard work came to a peak for Gibbs in the latter half of the 1980s, when he enjoyed a deserved run of success. It started with Tidal Light, the star performer of the 86-87 season, claiming 10 wins, including the New Zealand Derby. That was a big factor in Gibbs becoming the first New Zealander to train the winners of $1 million in a season. It was a magnificent period that brought Gibbs several tributes, including the Racing Personality of the Year, an honour Gibbs asked to share with previous winners who he respected so greatly. The citation records how Gibbs trained 11 3-year-olds to win 30 races. 11 were group races, 6 of them Group 1s, for stakes of almost $1.2 million. Soon after, Gibbs became the first New Zealand trainer to break through the $2 million barrier, as his runners came to dominate handicap and cup events in the North Island. Often he lined up a handful of runners in the big races with the likes of Regal City, Maureen, Spyglass, Sounds Like Fun and Mickey's Town. Christmas 1988 was a good time for the Gibbs stable, with Maureen taking the Avondale Cup, Sounds Like Fun the Jaguar Cup on Boxing Day, and Spyglass making the most of that Auckland Cup build-up race to claim the big one. The Gibbs horses reached a new peak in the 1989 Avondale Cup when 6 were entered. Maureen had won it the year before, and there was intense public and media interest to see if any stablemate could wrest the title from her.
At the 300 metres, last year's winner Maureen has grabbed the lead, but Regal City now on the inside. The stablemates fighting with it. Slice of Heaven, Spyglass is coming home quickly. Looks like a Gibbs trifecta. Maureen in front, Regal City fighting back desperately, going to the post. Oh, dead heat. Nothing between Maureen, the outside, Regal City. Spyglass might have just got that trifecta.
Gibbs not only achieved the trifecta with Maureen, Regal City and Spyglass, he had 5 runners inside the top 7. Gibbs was always a regular buyer and seller of horses and had a good eye for a bargain. Tidal Light was an example of a cheap champion, purchased for $4,000. Another brilliant purchase was the Melbourne and Caulfield Cups winner, Doremus. Gibbs always regarded that selection as a bit of a fluke. Doremus was in a secondary sale in Waikato, and Gibbs wasn't impressed by his first inspection. There were no bids, so Gibbs snapped him up for $4,500. Doremus won 2 of his 3 starts for Gibbs before being sold to Lee Friedman's stables in Melbourne. Wisely, Gibbs and his wife Anne retained a stake in Doremus and were on hand to witness the 1995 Cups double.
The 3-year-old, nothing like a day, trying to run it down. Then Steedman's third cup. Doremus wins.
The success achieved with Doremus was the culmination of a lifelong ambition. Gibbs admits to enormous pride when standing before the 100,000 racegoers at Flemington and knowing there were many big owners who would give anything to be a winner on the first Tuesday in November.
Speed of light, anchors just in
46 years as a trainer came to an end at Tauranga in March of 2008, with Cameron Lammas, one of his former apprentices, riding Volscar.
Richard Bamer. Look at Volscar come through on the inside for Jim Gibbs, and behind them then as they race down is Belgeois, followed further back now by, who knows, Volscar in front here from Richard Bamer. Good on you, Gibbsy. Oh, what a wonderful win. At the line, Volscar's won it.
It was a wonderful finish for a career that produced 145 stakes victories and 986 winners. He's proud of them all, but the family number plate indicates which horse will always remain the favourite. Gibbs was honoured the same year that he retired with the New Zealand Order of Merit. It's another of the many tributes for the man who will forever be remembered as the trainer's trainer.